Have you ever wondered how is it possible for a piece of furniture to have survived almost 250 years in this sort of condition? Well, let's have a little talk about this piece. Made during the reign of George III at the end of the 18th century, it's a mahogany bookcase on cylinder desk in mahogany, cross-banded beautifully, as you can see, all the way around the drawers and around the doors. It has this cornice here, again, with the same cross-banding going all the way around. And you can see, again, coming down here, on either side of the brass astragal there. The doors to the top open, and you've got one adjustable shelf, and that's where you'd have kept your collection of porcelain or your books, whatever. It's a drawing room piece. And you will have noticed that it's a very much more feminine, lighter feel than the earlier Chippendale period and Rococo of the middle years of the 18th century. This is one of a family of desks that were all made by Gillows of Lancaster. And we know this because this is actually stamped in two places, Gillows, Lancaster. This is not the first time I've had one of these pieces. The first one I had was about 30 years ago, and all three are variations on a theme, but they all have the basic cylinder bureau as the central part of them. But beautifully finished with a gallery at the top, and that one is illustrated in Susan Stewart's 2 volumes on Gillows of Lancaster, and it's here in the book. That was, as I said, about 30 years ago. And then just a couple of years ago, I came across another one that is not only very, very similar to the one that I had originally, but is also stamped by Gillows of Lancaster. And it accords entirely to the design in the Gillows Book of Sketches, their workbooks that are now in the Westminster Central Library. And now I've got this one too, that's stamped, as I said, in 2 places by Gillows of Lancaster. And you'll see it has the drawer here, beautifully shaped, with the original locks and keys. And then the drawers here, a full width drawer, 2 smaller drawers on either side of the knee hole. The knee hole there so that you could sit and work at this. Work at it? Yes, because this is a working piece of furniture. The cylinder opens just like that, and this is where the fun begins. That slides forward to there, and you've got this wonderful arrangement of beautifully made small drawers. Exquisite, very fine dovetailing at the front and the back. Beautifully made. And equally, on either side, you have these little doors, again, with a little drawer behind. And you've also got these sliding trays here, one which is fitted with 3 inkwells with brass tops. That one presumably for your quills, and again drawers all the way through. It's a beautiful piece, and it gets even better. There's a little thing that we noticed. The cylinder has got a keyhole here. Now, why would you have a keyhole but no lock for it to lock onto? The man that made this made it so that when you put the key in there, you can lock it, because the lock is actually set into the back of the cylinder here, and bolts into a hole just down there. That is ingenious. And it was when I was looking at this piece, trying to do a little bit of research on something else entirely, that I came across the clue. One of the clues is with the key on the cylinder, because it's got nothing to lock into, until you realise that the lock is actually hidden at the back of the cylinder, and as it comes forward it slides the entire width to the left hand side of the piece and bolts into the side of the piece when shut. This is Thomas Sheraton's The Cabinet Maker and Upholsterer's Drawing Book. A great volume published in parts to subscribers. And what I came across was that page that is the design for this bookcase. But this is stamped by Gillows, not by Sheraton. Sheraton never made any furniture. He was a designer. Did he design this and Gillows then made it? Or did Gillows make it, Sheraton saw it and included the design for it in his drawing book? The drawing book was published just into the 19th century, but the engraving is dated 1792. And we have the original design from the Gillows workbooks for the previous example that we had as well. It stands on these very, very fine square tapered legs with boxwood line inlay all the way down, raised on brass cups and casters. And you know what? Sheraton, in the drawing book, shows this open, and he's even got these two little trays marked out in the design. It is an absolute tribute to the people who made this and the materials used in it that it has survived since the 1790s in this brilliant condition. It served generations of one family and is a joy to behold. I hope you've enjoyed looking at this. Full details of this piece are available on my website at wrharvey.com. Thank you.